We are here to come together as a family and eat at the Lord's table. In Acts, Paul says that the primary reason we come together on Sundays is to take of this meal, so it must be important. What exactly does it mean to eat and drink the Lord's Supper? In Luke, Jesus says, "Do this in remembrance of me." We have it it's there and there, so that we remember that every Sunday. Jesus tells his disciples to continue the Lord's Supper as a way to remember him. The word that gets translated remember in Hebrew is a little bit different than the English word for remember. So Hebrew is a word-poor language, which means that it has way less words than a word-rich language like English. Hebrew only has tens of thousands of words versus English with hundreds, which means that in many cases, words get packed with a lot more meaning in in a language like Hebrew, and remember is one of those words. So in English, we use the word remember to refer to a passive memory sometimes. Like we can say, I remember this thing that I'm going to use to study. Like I'm going to study for a test so I can remember the answer. But in Hebrew, it's almost always way more active to remember something or somebody. And I think there are several Bible passages that make this clear. So Genesis 8 verse 1 reads, "But God remembered Noah and all the beasts and all the livestock that were with him in the ark. And God made a wind blow over the earth, and the waters subsided." So when God remembers Noah, it's not like he forgot about Noah and comes back and remembers him. God is all-knowing. He can't forget things. But what it means to remember in this case and in many others is to act on somebody's behalf. So by subsiding the waters, God acts on Noah's behalf and rescues him. Likewise, the Israelites are instructed to remember the Passover, and in doing so, they act on the behalf of their ancestors. They protect the foreigner and the slave in their communities. Here's a reversed example. Hebrews 8:12 reads, "For I will be merciful toward their iniquities, and I will remember their sins no more." God doesn't forget our sins, but he acts as if they don't exist. To remember our sins no more, he shows mercy by not acting on the behalf of the avenger. Now, this meaning is also sometimes used in English, but it's not as frequent as it is in Hebrew. You can remember your anniversary, and that's not a passive remembering. You actually do something to remember it. Or you can remember someone who died by doing or saying things like them. When my grandpa was alive, every time we went to a restaurant and there was a pitcher of tea that said unsweetened, he would say, well, it's not actually unsweetened, it's just unsweet. And he would say this every single time. And now to remember him, I do that same thing, it's a dumb joke, but. And I also remember him by showing kindness and studying the Bible. And we do this all the time with people that have passed away. We remember them by acting like them or by showing love to them. Showing love to people like they did. So with this new sense that we understand remembering somebody, how should we take the Lord's Supper? What would it mean to act on the behalf of Jesus? To remember Jesus, we should be like him and have compassion on the people around us. That applies today as we eat and drink. That's something that we should be thinking about. But it also applies as we go out into the world and spend time with the people around us. We remember Jesus through the Lord's Supper, but we also remember him every day with the kindness we show to the people around us. Let's think about that today as we eat together.